you decided which city that you want to go into next?
Yeah, I have. I have. I'm not going to say it now, but yeah, I have. We're going to go into another place and straighten it out. And I will say this: I watched today. I didn't know that was continuing to go on, but Portland is unbelievable.
This is how we do it. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. Hold on. Bump it up.
Come with me as I explore war-torn Portland. According to the government, the streets are burning. And I have to agree, how can a girl survive if she can't get a table at the best brunch spot before noon? I usually start my day collecting rations. There's a latte place on every corner because, like, how else are you supposed to power a resistance? They say the city's fallen, but somehow the croissants still slap despite society's collapse. Then came the riots, 10,000 strong. People running a marathon downtown. Families and babies, not even a single Molotov cocktail. But Antifa has taken over. And by Antifa, I mean 5 peaceful protesters in animal costumes handing out hugs. Anarchists have even started parading around with the bodies of their victims on top of their hybrid vehicles. And that's still somehow less offensive than the nightly news. So yeah, it's terrifying. If you're afraid of farmers markets and people making direct eye contact to hand you free samples of vegan cheese, in between our meetings to overthrow the government, we eat. Of course, this collapsed society produces James Beard award-winning chefs. Many of our restaurants make the top national 100 lists every year. Con Oak, Eam, Con. In this apocalypse, at least we're going down with perfectly charred Korean short ribs. When it's too peaceful, we flee to one of the 279 hideous parks around the city. Or we go an hour to the coast, 30 minutes to the mountains. It's suffocating to live in a city surrounded by waterfalls, rivers, and hundreds of miles of hiking trails. At night, the anarchists regroup. Rooftop barbecues, backyard campfires. Someone's always bringing a pie. I complain loudly about the lack of guns and uniforms, just women's rights and bodily autonomy. Can you imagine? So yes, this is war-torn Portland, a city under siege by decency, creativity, and community, a city where you can hike through a forest, share dinner with your friends, protest injustice, and still make it home before your sourdough starter needs feeding. If this is chaos, maybe we need more of it.
So how do you guys feel? Do you feel safe here?
I don't see any issues.
Because you know they say that they need the National Guard here. It's scary. ICE agents are still here.
Fuck ICE, like.
What do you think of ICE?
Man, I think it's a bunch of bullshit, to be honest. There's a bunch of immigrants here, you know, and we're all connected in one way or another, man. If he's illegal, you know, doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad person. It just means he wants a better living for his family, so.
Oh, man. Come here, brother. And then you know how I also feel about that. Even if someone is here illegally or whatever, undocumented, you don't have to beat their head in the ground and knock them on the ground and put handcuffs on them.
Let them at least try to get a, you know, permanent resident card or a green card.
Mom's home.
Hey, Remington. Hey, darling. Come here, bud. Hi. What's up, babe?
Hey, babe, do we got plans on October 18th?
Oh, yeah, darling. We're doing the No Kings rally in Ferndale, Michigan from 12 to 2.
Great.
Yeah. Hey, Nikki, where are you going to be on No Kings Day?
Hey, Chris. I'd love to join you at the Ferndale, Michigan one. And by the way, I heard that yellow is the color to wear. Hey, Sarah, where are you going to be?
Hi, Nikki. Hi, Harvey. Thank you for the tip on the yellow. I had no freaking clue, but no worries. I had this laying around. I'm actually going to be out of town on Saturday, October 18th in Indianapolis. So my sisters in the resistance there and I will be protesting at the Indiana State House from 12 to 3. Where are you going to be, Sylvia?
Hey, Sarah. Sadly, I'm going to be in the middle of a flight during the march. But that doesn't mean I'm not doing anything. I'm going to be amplifying as much as I can before, during, and after so everybody can see the biggest protest in American history. What about you, Jess?
Oh, hi, Sylvia. I will be there for sure. Yeah, I'm going in downtown Los Angeles, 2 p.m., baby. And what about you, Lindsay? Where will you be?
So I'm planning to go to the No Kings rally in Portland, 12 to 4, Waterfront Memorial Park. I hope to see you there. If you're not going in Portland, tell me where you are going.
Illegal immigrants draining our resources. Moving this sort of talking point of illegal immigrants draining our resources as you sit here and lie about this. Would you support that bill and bring it to a vote on the House floor? This is a big question that I have for you. Thank you.
Yeah, well, not lying. I'm telling you the truth, and you can go look at all the documents yourself. Don't look at Republican paperwork. Look at the Congressional Budget Office, who said that we had at least 1.4 million illegal aliens draining the resources from Medicaid.
Mike Johnson says he's not lying. It's a real tell there. says immigrants are draining resources from Medicaid, and you can go, quote, look at the documents yourself. Thank you for that advice. Let's do just that. Here's a study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association just last night. It found that in 2022, care for undocumented immigrants made up only 0.4% of total Medicaid spending, less than 0.5%. That's it. There are the documents. We can send them to your office.
Good morning, San Diego. America's pissed off, people. This is Waterfront Park at the county building in San Diego, California. We are here to protest Donald Trump, his administration. Trump must go.
That President Trump is the most transparent president in history, tragically and chillingly. You may be right when it comes to criminal justice. We have a record. It is a public record of his express instructions that certain individuals be investigated. He has been transparent. In fact, 5 days before the indictment of James Comey, he put this post up as instructions to you. He didn't mince words. He was very open and public that you should indict James Comey and others because they are guilty as hell. No more delay. Now, did you discuss James Comey with the President of the United States? He was sitting just to your left.
Well, 2 seats down, yes. 2 seats down. And I am not going to discuss any conversations I've had or not have with the President of the United States.
Because the American public is entitled to know, Madam Attorney General.
The entire cabinet was at that dinner.
Whether you took instructions from President Trump after he told you very directly to indict James Comey, which is weaponization of the Department of Justice.
Kristi Noem is a joke. J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, went behind a podium and went, boo-hoo-hoo. The shutdown is AOC's fault. This man isn't Vice President of the United States of America. You know what I have to say to that? You look like a clown back there. You're the second most powerful person in this country, and you're crying about me? And you're blaming the whole government shutdown on me? LOL, my guy. These people do this in order to make themselves feel powerful. Because deep, deep, deep down inside, they feel and know how small they are. And in order for a small person to feel big, they have to crush someone else.
Right before they sent the president out to hold this partisan political rally with active duty U.S. Navy sailors in Norfolk this weekend, right before that trip, the Trump administration, for some reason, fired the U.S. Navy's chief of staff. And I have to say, it did not make a ton of news when that happened. I think in part because this is one in a long series of firings like this now, right? I mean, the military, by definition, is not a political body where the whole thing is supposed to turn over every time there's a new president. Right? Since Trump has been back in office, he has just been destroying the top leadership of the U.S. military. Since Trump has been back in the White House, we have seen fired or pushed out the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the head of the Navy SEALs, the chief of naval operations, the head of the Navy Reserve, now this weekend, the Navy Chief of Staff, the head of U.S. Cyber Command, the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, the commandant of the U.S. Coast Guard, the chief of staff of the Air Force, the vice chief of staff of the Air Force, the head of the Air Force Global Strike Command, the top legal officer in the Air Force, the top legal officer in the Army, the top legal officer in the Navy. And in what may or may not be related news, the New York Times reports tonight that they have also removed the top legal official at the CIA. Because why not? All of these people have all been fired or pushed out by Trump, by the Trump administration, while Simultaneously, Trump, as of this past week, is explicitly telling all the remaining top generals and admirals in the U.S. military that he wants them to plan to bring U.S. military operations. He expects them to bring the force of the U.S. military to bear against Americans at home in U.S. cities. Specifically, he told them that he wants to see U.S. troops, U.S. active duty military engagement against the cities of San Francisco, Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles. New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles are the three largest cities in the country. Trump wants the U.S. military to operate in those cities against the Americans who live there.
And I love traveling through Chicago. Let me show you this view right now. I mean, look at that, dude. So, it just got nighttime. The lights are coming on. It's a beautiful city. It's not war-torn or ravaged, and it doesn't need Donald Trump ignoring the wishes of the governor, sending in National Guard from other states. And ICE needs to get the fuck out of Chicago and all surrounding suburbs. God damn it.
And this president, you better start obeying the Constitution. You better start obeying the Constitution. It's going to get real ugly if you don't follow the laws and obey the Constitution like you swore an oath to do.
Love to see it. Mike Johnson, he went on Face the Nation. He got faced with the truth.
House Speaker Mike Johnson joins us from Capitol Hill. Good morning to you, Speaker. Anyone up there to negotiate with?
There's not, Margaret. Good morning. Good to hear your voice. It's kind of quiet around here. It has been for the last several days, and it's very unfortunate because as we're talking, real people are being adversely affected around the country and some in very substantial ways.
Sorry, I just have to interrupt for 1 second. Oh, we're really worried about the real people in America. I'm sorry, where were you worried about those people when you were helping to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that takes healthcare away from tens of millions of Americans and takes nutritional assistance away from children? Okay, anyway, here it comes.
I pray that more Democrats in the Senate will come to their senses and do the right thing. And when they have the next opportunity on Monday to vote to open the government, I surely hope that they will.
Well, you did send your lawmakers home to their districts, which suggests we've got probably another week ahead of us of this shutdown.
There, she calls him out on it. You just sent your people home for another week. How are we supposed to end the shutdown when you sent your people home? And you have to understand how unprecedented this is. In every other shutdown, Congress stayed in town and kept working until they solved their differences. Republicans have not been willing to negotiate leading up to this or now. They are unwilling to talk at all, not to mention they don't want to come back to town because he doesn't want to swear in Adelita Grijalva, who will be the 218th vote on the discharge petition to release the Epstein files. How corrupt is this? The answer? Staggeringly, breathtakingly corrupt. Here's the truth, and it's really straightforward, is that they don't actually care about the American people at all. What this guy and Donald Trump and all of the Republicans clearly care about the most is keeping those Epstein files under wraps at any cost. That's priority number one. Priority number two, keeping those tax cuts for the richest people and the largest corporations in the country, no matter what. Those two things, which are connected, by the way, are all they care about. And that is about corruption at the highest levels, and we should not let it go for 1 second. Because he may not want to face the nation, and he may not want to face the truth, but eventually these Republicans will have to face the voters. And Speaker Johnson, we see exactly what you're doing.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for, Trucker John.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good afternoon to the afternoon people. It's still morning here. It's 11:38 a.m. in the good old Pacific time zone. Gee, what is it? It's already 75 degrees here. We have an expected high of 87. I think most of the stormy activity is kind of blown through. We were getting storms yesterday and some rain and stuff like that. Much needed rain in this really drought, these drought conditions we've had. So yeah, a little bit of rain. The coffee's hot. So is the host. Anyway, thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate you hanging in. I know I came on a little bit late, but that gave you 20-something minutes to watch Johnny Million. So I have him on my phone. I have him on my TV right now. So I see Chris Doug's over there. What are you doing over there, Chris? No, I'm just kidding. One Vision's over there. I'm just kidding. We all love Johnny Million. All right, thanks for being here. I saw I'm not able to scroll back up to the top. It won't let me. But I did see, I guess Sandy Foltz was in there, and I don't even remember after that. Jolie's here. Hey, Jolie, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in and helping out with the mod duties. Roxanne79 is here. Roxanne says, I just had cold pizza. I wonder what TJ is eating. You know he's snacking. No, I just had breakfast. That was my breakfast that I just had while the thing was running. I'm out of. I usually just pop these little those little egg and bacon biscuit sandwiches. I just pop those in the microwave, and that's usually because I'm always a little running late for the show. So because I was editing, editing. It's not like I'm just laying around doing nothing. I was putting together and editing that intro right up until it was time to come on. But anyhow, I ran out of the little breakfast thing, so I just made my own little breakfast sandwich where I just toasted some toast, put some cheese on it, put some Black Forest ham on it, and that was it. I slathered it with butter and a coffee, and that was my breakfast. That was my breakfast. I see Susie Jones is here. Hey, Susie, good to see you. DPD 5844 is in the driver's lounge. Damon Dog, the big dog, is in the old driver's lounge. Damon Dog has it down. He knows the routine pretty good. Says finishing his breakfast, making coffee, and uploading. How finishing on time threw him off. That's pretty much, yeah. Pretty much it. Susie Jones says I had an Oreo cookie Pop-Tart and a cup of coffee left over, meatloaf later. Aunt Tifa and Uncle Habeas Corpus didn't make it to dinner last night, so I have plenty of leftovers. Ba-da-bum. Damon Dog 20 after, so I'm already 22 minutes behind you. It's just 22 little minutes, guys. It's not that big of a deal. Is it that big of a deal? Roxanne79 is saying something to Damon Dog, the big dog. Don O'Leary with the Hal Sparks raid. The Hal Spark raid. Thank you, Don. Appreciate you. I was watching. I had the Hal Sparks show playing, and I was listening to it, but I wasn't really involved in the chat because I was I was gathering clips and all that kind of stuff. So I don't even know if I was mentioned in the chat at all. I don't even know if I was in there today. But thanks, guys, for coming over. I appreciate you. Aaron West is here. Aaron's here. So we are now at full mod capacity. Aaron says, hi, everyone. I just met the author, Nicholas Sparks, and now I'm grabbing some food. Wow. Just sparks everywhere. What did Nicholas Sparks write? I'm interested in knowing what has that person written. Okay, I'm just sort of skipping down. And the chats, you guys are talking. There's Sandy Foltz. I see Sandy in there. Joey says Trucker John has the best intros. Oh, thank you. Don O'Leary, he clips them for sharing. Be sure to share them out. Yeah, right after the show, I will upload or download or whatever load, whichever direction it's going, that opening segment in its own separate little thing. Marsha Jones is here. Says it was a loyalty test to Trump. Was that about the firings and stuff or whatever? Or the Stinker's here. Hey, Stinker. Manda, I see Manda. Hey, Manda, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Falcor, the mighty Falcor is here. All efforts will be made to thwart upcoming elections. As per always, but this time it might be on steroids. But we must overcome. We must overcome, and make sure we're registered. Make sure we vote. And if we're not allowed to vote, or there's something hinky going on, then let the entire world know about it. We all have these things now. We all have our own little production facilities in our pockets. Let the entire world know if there's things going on that are preventing us from voting. But I suspect we will be able to vote. But even as Donald Trump has said, and he copied it from some Russian or something. It's not the vote; it's who counts the votes. So I'm just looking over there. I thought I saw a bug, but I didn't. It's I don't have my regular glasses on. These are my reading glasses, and I believe that is just the hinge on the door. It has a dark spot on it. Since I've laid these traps, I have not seen. I saw one bug in the sink last night. One bug in the sink. But other than that, these traps are doing a great job. They're just trapping everything because apparently, so I'm not even seeing them. I'm not even seeing them crawl to the trap. So hey, out of sight, out of mind, as far as I'm concerned. Anyhow, David Windler is here. David says, John, you are live at 10:38. Sounds good. 10:38. Where are you at? That's an hour behind me. Anamor's here. Hello, she says hello, TJ. Hello, Anamor. Good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Now, I just have one little meme today. I thought it was maybe appropriate. Breaking news. This was from this morning about the federal judge who rules that Trump violated the 10th and 14th Amendments and Posse Comitatus Act deploying Texas troops to Chicago. So yet another loss in the courts for Donald Trump. And of course, we have to have that up. But just another loss for Trump. We know Trump is the lawbreaker here. Trump is the felon, convicted felon. He's the lawbreaker. He wants to continually act as though everyone else is the trouble. But Trump, you're the one that's the lawbreaker. And if there's any justice in this world, you will someday see the inside of a prison. Although, he may just croak before that. But anyhow, we got William. Hey, William, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Thanks for coming on in to the driver's lounge. Just skimming on down here, seeing who else popped in. We got 29 watching. We're at a slight deficit with 27 thumbs ups. Let's please not act like Republicans and operate in deficit land. Let's at least be good Democrats and get us to a balanced budget. Witchy Woman is here. Hey, Witchy Woman, the goddess, Kimchi, otherwise known as. Witchy says, hi, beautiful progressive. Hey, TJ. Hey, gorgeous Jolie and beautiful Mistress Erin. Fancy's here. Hello, Fancy. Good to see you. Fancy, fancy, fancy. Fancy's in the driver's lounge. Ooh, 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 ooh. Josh is here. Hey, Josh. Good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Thanks for popping into the old driver's lounge. Driver's lounge for you and the driver's lounge for me. Amanda's here. Hey, Amanda. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Coming on in, hanging out. Hang out. Come on in and hang out. Jolie says, John has bug PTSD. If you guys remember, the day before I got these traps, I was literally on my way out. I was literally about to pack a bag and go hit a motel, man. And then I ordered those traps, and I was able to get them the next day. So I hung in there for one more day. And since I put those traps up, I have not seen. Like I said, I saw one in the sink, one, and that was the first one in what was it, been like a week now since I had those traps. So, I mean, they were literally. I was seeing bugs on the walls. I was seeing them on the floor. I saw some on the couch, on my little table, my side table there. I was overrun with bugs. Like I said, I described it as like a herd of bugs coming through. And so for me to see one bug in a week is really pretty remarkable. And I did get a notice on the door about the pest fumigation guy. They call it fumigation here, but it's it's the pesticide guy or whatever, the sprayer, the spray guy. And they did give me a little notice that they will be here. I guess it's on Monday. Yeah, on 13th. So sometime Monday, between the hours of 8 and 5 p.m., the bug guy's coming in. So I'm going to have them spray. So we'll have the added protection of the spray, and I'll have the traps. And I can't wait to show the bug guy the traps, because I think the bug guys, they love looking at bugs. I think they love it. And I'm gonna say, hey, look at my traps, man, and I'm gonna show him, and then he can see exactly what they're dealing with. Not that he doesn't already know, but because it seems like whenever they come here, there's no bugs. Like, where's the bugs? But now I can show them a trap and go, look, this is what we got here. Christina Weibel, I've lived in places with roaches. They are nasty. Yeah. Fancy says those combats work. When I was a manager, I'd put a couple boxes out over the weekend, and they would be cleared out by Monday. I don't have the combat. I think I've seen those in the store, like combat. Is that I think they're black or whatever. The ones I have are different. They're made by Shield Deck. And man, they really work good. A witchy woman. You're a witchy woman. Witchy woman says the landlord is for bugs and mice. Tell them. Knock on wood, I have not seen any rodents of any sort. So, I'm knocking on wood. Because I have a wooden head, apparently. See, Damon Duck says the combat things work. They carry the poison back to the nest. See, I don't have that kind. Maybe I should get a couple of those too. Because the kind I have, they just get in, and then they can't get out. Because it's like a sticky pad, and they just stick to the pad. I should probably get maybe a couple of those kind too that take the poison back to the nest, and then that way, hopefully they wipe the nests out. So yeah, I think I should do both. I like these ones. I think these are awesome, but I think I should get the other kind too. You know, mix and match. I'll mix and match it a little bit. Fancy says, I think they kill the neighbor's roaches too. Yeah, they probably have nests that go, to all different apartments. There's Sandy Foltz says, hey, Trucker John. Hey, Sandy. Good to see you. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I never did see a thumbs up. I guess because I didn't ask for thumbs ups. I just went into it just hoping everything's working. There's Sandy Foltz says, hey, Trucker John. Hey, Sandy. If by now it wasn't working, there would have been a whole bunch of, no audio. So anyhow, let's see. Donald Leary, what kind of bug roaches? They're just the cockroaches. The cockroach. They're the cockroach. I guess. Witchy woman says, yes, Fancy, they have to do surrounding apartments or the whole complex. Oh, you're talking about like if they do the tenting or Love Dragon. Hey, Love Dragon, it's good to see you. Love Dragon says, I've smoked a lot of roaches. Damon Dog, Hotel California Traps. Yeah. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. Jolie says, that's what I keep under my appliances and toilet, just in case. Never see any around here. Knock on wood. Yeah. I hope we're not jinxing ourselves, Jolie. Don O'Leary says, oh, good, you have to stay home all day, 8 to 5. They usually come. They've come before, and they're usually here like bright and early, like 9 a.m. Now on here, did it say 8? It did say 8. So, but they're usually here like right. It seems like 9 o'clock every time that they've come in for me. Sunny Folks, did you get the video I sent you? I did see that you sent something, and I clicked on it, and then it wouldn't let me go to it for some reason. So I didn't see the video. Damon Dog says, I saw a meme with 2 1-gallon jars of roaches. I can't imagine the number of packs of rolling papers that would entail. Anna Moore says, what award or prize can we actually present to this current administration? Is there one for treason? Well, we could make one, because they are a bunch of treasonous bastards. Hello, Marsha. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. I see Marsha there. Hello, Marsha. Hey, Elizabeth Martinez is here. Buenos dias. Juan. Buenos dias. Right back at you. Elizabeth Martinez. Buenos dias. Witchy woman says hi. Is searched. Luck Dragon says, I swallowed so many roaches that my left lung is 25% zigzag. But Sandy Folk says, does those bug traps you got take care of flies? Well, I don't know, because I really don't have a fly problem. But if a fly got in there and they landed on the sticky part, it would take care of them. But I don't know if it draws them or not. You know what I mean? But if a fly went in there and landed inside of it, it'd be done. Because I haven't seen any bugs be able to get out of this thing. Once they're in it, they're in it. They're in it to not win it. But I fortunately don't have a fly issue. I'm looking around like, is there a fly in here? There's no flies. It's a no-fly zone in here. But you know, like I said, I don't know if it attracts flies. It does seem to attract these bugs because they're going right to the traps apparently. Because I don't see them anywhere. I don't even see them going to the trap, which is the weird thing. Because I've got traps all around, and in order to get to this trap, they would have to have walked over there, and I haven't seen anything, walking around. In fact, I haven't even checked that trap though, to tell the truth. So I don't even know if there's anything in this one. The one that's over here underneath the TV. I would assume that there probably is. I've only really checked the trap by the trash can, the one under the sink, the one in the cabinet, the one between the fridge there and the stove. Those are all full. The one behind the toilet, that one's got a bunch of bugs in it. It's pretty well full. I'm gonna have to order up another 12-pack. You can get them in the 12 packs for like $20. I do have 2. I put 10 down, so I do have 2 that I haven't used yet. I'm probably gonna replace a couple of those with that. I think I'm gonna wait till the spray, the spray guy, poison spray guy gets here tomorrow, because I just want to show him the traps and like, look what I'm doing. He might want to take it home. These bug guys, I'm telling you, they're like, I think they're into it. They're into bugs and shit. But yeah, I don't know if it is. So, but it has the bait. There's a little bag you stick in there, and you can smell it. Like when you're making it. Like I don't smell it now at all. But when you're putting the traps together, you can kind of smell this bait. It's kind of a strong smell. And apparently, whatever it is, these bugs love it because I think it attracts them to the trap. But yeah. DPD 5844 says, everyone who is partaking in the No Kings protest for October 18th, please check to see if you have a valid permit, because the assholes are coming up with some shady shit to prevent us from protesting. That's a good point, DPD. That's a very good point. I do think that the October 18th organization is very well organized. It's a very well organized, and so they probably do. But it's a good to point that out, and double check or whatever. One thing I found out by through one of the clips that I posted about the one about the No Kings Day, which is a week from today, by the way, is I don't think I have a yellow shirt. I might have to go out and buy me a yellow shirt. I'm trying to think if I have. I don't think I have a yellow shirt. Why would I? I mean, who wears yellow shirts? But anyhow, Richard loved the Dodgers cap. You said that yesterday, Richard. There's Richard, our expat down under. Thanks, Richard, for being here, by the way. It's probably like, 5 in the morning or something like that? Old Richard comes in here bright and early in his time there. Josh says, okay, I got my AC window units out for the season. See, here, we leave ours in all year round. But fortunately, I won't be having to run that. Once we get really into fall and winter, this AC probably won't even come on until next spring sometime. But it is. I still have it running now because it gets a little hot in this room. I can't open the window. We got good screens, so I can open the window at some point here. I haven't really done that yet, but It should be getting to the point where I can start just cracking the window or open the window and getting some cool air from outside and um, not running the AC. I see Johnny Million is finishing up, so I don't know if any of the Johnny millionaires are going to come over and join us or not. What does he call them? They should be called the millionaires, right? I think I just made that up. On the fly. Look, Dragon says, "How's that way of the world? Wait, how that's the way of the world is not everybody's favorite song. Always amazes me. Well, it's a great song. It is a great song. It's not my favorite song, but it is a great song, and I love Tears for Fears. Hey, Kinky Streets is here. Kinky, good to see you. Kinky says, I listened to the open, and now here I am. Well, there you are. Thanks for coming on in. It does look like it's getting a little dark in the room all of a sudden, because I have my blinds open a little bit, or, a lot, actually. And I can see the sun. There must have been a cloud going over, because now it seems like it's brightening. I haven't even been outside yet today, so... but apparently we've got some clouds rolling through. Yeah, Richard. Hey, I was right. Richard watching from Australia, 5 a.m. Am I good or am I good? Damon Dog says at DPD 5844, they're going to have a hard time canceling the DC protest. I'm hoping for more than Last No Kings, and there were at least 100,000. Wow. And I saw Damon Dog. Damon Dog is gearing up. If you guys didn't see it, Damon Dog, the big dog, posted a video of this like gas mask that he got. Damon, I saw it. It's a pretty cool mask. Are you expecting to be tear gassed? I guess you never know. It's always good to be played on the safe side. But Damon Dog is ready, man. He's got the gear. Got that really nice gas mask. I'm calling it a gas mask. I don't know. Is it because it had like a thingy in the front? Search for you. Did you check the one under your bed? No, I have not. I probably should. I'm trying to think. I think I might have like a week ago, or and I don't think I saw any bugs in there. But I bet you there's bugs in there. But I haven't, because basically it was just because I'm too lazy to like get down on my hands and knees and because they're pretty cool. They have a little handle on the top, so you just pick it up by the handle. You don't have to worry about touching anything. So the main thing is, I just didn't feel like crawling down there and doing it. I'm just too lazy to do that. But I would not be surprised at all if there's a bunch in there. I mean, they're everywhere. But I should check it just to see how far they've come over. But I would not be surprised if there's a bunch of bugs in there. And if that bug trap is keeping them from crawling on me, then hey, fine. I'm fine with it. Yeah, Fancy says, make lots of videos, Damon. Yeah, let's document this stuff, man. Document those No Kings, and let's let the world know that we are not happy with our present administration, and we will not be subjects to a king. That's why we had the revolution, all those many years ago. We will not be subjects to a king or to royalty. This is a democratic republic, God damn it. We have a constitution. We have branches of governments. We don't have fucking kings. So let's make sure that we let the whole world know it. I'm going to be out next Saturday here in Las Vegas on the Strip. We will be protesting there, and we will have our No Kings protest right on the fucking Las Vegas Strip. I will be there documenting it with videos and live streams and everything else you can imagine. 1 week from today. So let's all use our little production studios that we carry around in our pockets. Oh, that's what they're calling it, huh? And we can all let the whole world know that we are out here protesting, and we're not going to take it. We're not gonna take it. Damon Dog says, Richard, did you see Sandy Koufax sitting in the stands at the Dodgers games? That's a good question, because Richard always talks about Sandy Koufax having the best curveball in the history of curveballs. MJ Daniels here from up there in Washington State. MJ says, worst we get here in Olympia are wolf spiders, the size of a 50-cent piece. Not very many this year so far. Well, you know what? It would only take one of those motherfuckers probably to send me packing. A fucking spider that is called a wolf, and it's as big as a fucking 50-cent piece? Are you kidding me? I'm not on board with that. I'm not on board with that. Sorry to hear about that, Sandy. Sandy says this is would have been the 35th anniversary that my daughter had died. Katie died. I believe she died at birth or something, or very young. Very, very sad to hear that, Sandy. And it must be a sad day for you. So, my best thoughts and wishes go to you on this day. A really sad day for you. Jonathan Earl is here. The age of the sphincter. Bit of a non sequitur, I suppose. Yeah, because we're all puckering up. Yeah, I get it. Maybe it's not a non sequitur. Yeah, we're living through these times where we're clinching. We're all clinching. Aaron West says, okay, I'm in the car and driving home now. I'll be listening. Alrighty. Drive carefully, Aaron. Fancy says, just get combats. I suppose, yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know. I like mine, though. I like the ones I got. But, because that means they have to go. Okay, all right, okay, whatever. Amanda says I got my husband a yellow taco shirt. Well, there you go. That's perfect. Jonathan Earl says, well, do you have a white shirt and some mustard? I do. As a matter of fact, I have both of those things. Look, Dragon Mariners, Philadelphia, 6 games, Seattle. What's that about? I mean, yeah, I know the Mariners beat the Tigers last night in 15 innings. I know that. I don't know what Philadelphia's 6 games means. Philadelphia's out of it. Dodgers royally kicked their asses by a lucky error that the pitcher made. But I'll take it. Hey, if it was reversed and it was the other way around and the Phillies won that way, they would be taking it too. So they would be just as happy. Anna Moore says, also, please check the voting rules in your area as they are quickly changing. I mailed in my mail-in ballot already. Are you in California? Is it about you, or you had some special election somewhere? Because I know in California they had the Prop 50 is going on, and people have been mailing those in. Kinky Street says USA leading economic indicators are falling in line with same indicators last time GOP installed tariffs 100 years ago. A recession, perhaps worse, is coming. Yeah, you mentioned that yesterday, and it cannot be overstated now. And also, just looking back at what Trump did the first time, it's kind of mirroring that, Josh says last time half of the protest was just people driving by with flags and signs and cheering. Well, that's good too. I think that could work. Tim Farrell's here. Hey, Tim Farrell, good to see you. Thanks for popping on in to the driver's lounge. MJ Daniel says, I have the perfect t-shirt, or perfect shirt. Kind of yellowish, from the BBC comedy It Crowd, shows Mao holding his little red book with RTFM. Read the fucking manual. I guess that's what RTFM is. On top. Then I think I'll wear that. All right, I guess. I mean, if you want to be if you want people to call you a Maoist, a commie, that's up to you. Fancy says, I like that Dodgers cap too. Yeah, my son got me this a few years ago. This is a World Series one, I think. Can you guys see it? I'm not taking my hat off. Did you guys see my short? Can you guys see the side? Is this the one? Is this the right one? No, that's the wrong side. Go this way. I believe this is from the '88 World Series, right? Let me see. Yep. There it is, 1988. It's an '88 World Series. But the hat isn't that old. The hat's a couple years old or something. Like my son got me that hat. For I forget, either birthday or Father's Day. Or Christmas. David Dog says, Manda, I'll be wearing a black t-shirt, if you don't mind. None of that yellow crap. I should make sure I always say when I add stuff, because Damon Dog didn't say the last part. I added some stuff there. Damon Dog says, first thing my friend asked was, how do we convert it to a smoking mask? Of course your friend would say that, because your friends are all potheads. All a bunch of dopers. I'm just kidding. I mean, it's true, but I'm kidding. Yeah, this is Anamore says, yay, Damon Doll. Yes. Oh, yes, he is. Damon is ready for the march. Yippee. Yippee! Yippee! Go ahead to Damon Dog. I think it's going to be a huge march all across the country, and I think they're hoping to get 20 million people or something or more across the country. Damon Dog says, yes, gas mask or NBC mask, as we called them in the Army, is pretty good quality for $20. It was only $20? Really? It did look like high quality. Thank God for Timo, huh? No, I'm just kidding. But that's good. I thought that would be I don't know, $50 or something or more. So yeah, that sounds like a good deal. $20, hell. Buy two. Manda says our hometown permit is from 2 to 6, so I'm leaving at 4. Right in the middle, huh? Yeah, we have time, and they gave us a time too. I forget now. Tim Farrell, get a cat, John. We've talked about that. We've talked about the cats and the dogs and all that kind of stuff. Ad nauseum? Is that how you say it? So but thanks for the suggestion. I come here and talk, and I can't talk. MJ Daniel says NBC mass nuclear biological chemical. Oh, there you go. Thanks for the explanation. You commie. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, MJ. I'm just kidding. Luck Dragon says, I went car shopping yesterday, and the first thing on my mind were, where could I store my weed at? I went with the biggest trunk. How much fucking weed do you got? What are you, a fucking cartel? Are you running are you running shit for the cartel? You need, where trunk space is the issue? Jesus Christ. What, you got bales of fucking pot? You buy it by the bale? My goodness gracious. DPD 5844 says Damon Dog, yellow has been chosen because it's a symbol of hope and optimism. In 2018, yellow vests were worn in protest in France. I do have a safety vest, and it's sort of like the bright. Is it bright yellow or is it sort of the greenish kind? I don't know. I forget now. I've got a few of them, but I do have one that I really have never worn. Like all the ones I used to get when I was driving a truck, they would get all greasy and dirty within just. It's amazing how dirty and greasy you can get, even if all you're doing is driving, and you're just sort of, you're dropping and hooking trailers, you're dropping them and hooking up. That shit gets you dirty. It gets you fucking dirty. It's just amazing how dirty you get. But I did get one vest that was like an award thing. I guess one of my things for being such an outstanding driver. And I don't believe I've ever really worn it like outdoors or when I was working because I wanted to keep it nice. I think that's yellowish. That's like a bright yellow. I could wear that. I could, that might be appropriate wear. Let me go see if I have it. I think I have it hanging up in the closet, actually. Let me go. I'll be right back. I'm just going to see if I have that vest. I mean, I know I still have it, but... Oh, yeah, here it is right here. No, is this the one? Now, let me just check. I'm going to check I've got a trap in the closet. And there's close to a dozen bugs in that trap. That's in the closet, which is next to my bed. That was easy for me to check. The one under the bed, I didn't do. But let me know what you guys think. If I could wear this, because someone will probably think that I'm working security or something, or that I'm working because there or something. Well, it looks orange on the screen, but it's not orange. At least on my screen. Yeah, it looks, but this is actually bright yellow. Maybe it's kind of weird. It's like the green screen. I guess it's because of the green screen, but this is not green. At least to me, that's yellow. I mean, do you see the little tiny stripes of yellow? That's how the rest of it is. It's all yellow. It's all that. It's just like that. But for some reason, it's on here. It's like the green screen is putting the orange into it. So I guess it doesn't show you. I guess it's not a very good. You guys can't see the color, so the true color. Man just says, I cleaned my old school digital camera, no phones. Okay, well, whatever you got. Fancy says, bring earplugs too, Damon. Anamore says, document and don't take the bait. Yeah, don't take the bait, exactly. We got to remember that. Don't take the bait. David Dog says I'm taking extra power packs so I can live cast as much as possible. Oh, awesome! That'll be great. Let's all we all need to check out Damon Dog live streaming from DC, the DC No Kings Parade. That'll be awesome. The Soulcraft is here. Hey, Soulcraft, good to see you. Soulcraft says we don't rule, we govern. And by the way, here's why I got this vest. If you can see it. Oh, it's like it says safe. What's it say? Consecutive safe driver Schneider. I was consecutive. So they sent me that. Josh says, don't hedgehogs eat roaches? I would imagine. David Dog says, remember, folks, if shit pops off, sit down where you're at and record. And Jolie put the link. Thank you, Jolie. Jolie's got the link to Damon Dog's YouTube channel. And we'll be looking forward to seeing what's going on in D.C., courtesy of Damon Dog at the No Kings Parade there. MJ Daniel says, TJ would never make it in Australia with their nasty... Oh, no. You're absolutely correct. I would, with their nasty bugs and snakes. I've seen enough like travel shows and even just movies and stuff. I've always thought, yeah, I would like to go to Australia. If I did, it would just be like Sydney, or it'd just be the main cities. I'm not going to go out and venture out at all because, yeah, I don't like bugs and snakes. Those are my two worst things. The Soulcraft. I almost called you Squirrelcraft for some reason. The Soulcraft. Oh, I guess my eyes were jumping ahead because the Soulcraft says squirrel got in our house and Dio chased it, caught it, shook it like a toy, and unfortunately the squirrel didn't make it. Aw, that is sad. Had a sad ending there, but hey, Fafo motherfucker to the squirrel. You come in Dio's house. You come in the house, squirrel. You're gonna have to deal with Dio. All right. So Fafo motherfucker. Says you. Soulcraft says, picture so choked, I felt bad. Been there, done that. Yeah, but at that level, Major League Baseball, I mean, yeah, I know they're human. They make mistakes. That's got to be one of the dumbest mistakes I've ever seen a Major League player make, though. I mean, what could top that? What other Major League play have you seen that would top that? Let me know in the chat if you've seen a dumber play by a Major League Baseball player than what that pitcher did, with bases loaded, a little dribbler hit to him in front of the mound. When he got the ball, the batter, it was 2 outs. Okay, for those of you that don't know, it was 2 away. when the pitcher got to the ball, the batter was barely out of the batter's box. He kind of bobbled the ball, and so he got nervous. And then he just kind of like picked it up and threw it to home plate, and the ball, and it was a wide throw. It wasn't even to the catcher. I mean, the catcher missed it. It got by him, and so then the runner from third scored easily. But all he had to do was pick up the ball, fire it to first base. He had plenty of time to fire it to first base. Like I said, the runner was like barely, 10 feet away off the home plate. And he could have gunned him down. He had plenty of time to throw the runner out at first base. But he panics. He tries to throw home, and he throws the ball away, and the Dodgers win. I don't think I've seen anything that bad ever. I can't remember anything that bad. I really can't. So if anyone else can remember something that's bad or worse than that, let me know. MJ Daniel says, amazing game, but now they have to fly to Toronto today after that and play tomorrow. Oh, that was talking about the Mariners, right? Now we're skipping to the Mariners. The Mariners, I wasn't watching the game because I was watching other stuff or doing other things. Because yesterday, let's see, I did my live stream. I was watching some other things, and then I was like, oh yeah, the game is on. I think there's a game on tonight. And then, so by the time I turned it on, it was already like 9:00 in my time, or it was after 9, I think. And I'm like, well, the game's got to be over with by now. So I turned it on, and it was still like, actually, I think I had seen a score or something, or I saw a highlight on YouTube and I watched where I guess Detroit went up in the 7th inning. I think they went up 2-1, and then the next inning, I think the Mariners came back and tied it at 2. And then I was like, is this game still on? I wonder if it's still on, because I was waiting for, because they usually post the highlights of the whole game on YouTube, and I kept waiting like, where are the highlights? Why am I just getting these inning things? I'm not getting the whole game. And then I thought, is the game still on? It can't still be on. And so then I went on regular TV and I found the game, and sure enough, and by this time it was after 9:00 my time, and it was when I got on there, it was I think the 14th inning or something, 13th or 14th inning. Maybe it was that, because I watched quite a few innings. It might have been like the 11th or 12th inning or something, or I don't know, I forget. But I was like, wow, this game is still going? Because I saw where they tied it up in the 8th inning. I think it was 8th inning. And I'm like, oh my god! So I might have came in like around the 14th inning, and so I watched them win. I watched them win the game. Seattle won the game in the 15th. But that was a good game. I mean, that was exciting, and Seattle fans are really happy. And it's been a long time since Seattle has gone that far into the postseason and everything. So, look, Dragon, the Mets win. They win the Staying at Home award. Oh, King Street says, just in case, because that was a repeat. King says, just in case someone didn't see it. Yeah, that's good. It probably can't be said enough that we are probably headed for some pretty dire times here economically. We are probably headed for, at the very least, a great recession or a recession. I don't know. Yeah. So like I've said, man, buckle up, buttercups, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. So I'm going to enjoy the World Series, and I'm going to enjoy whatever I can while I can, because I don't know how much longer we have where we are going to be having things to enjoy. I'm mid-thread. It says fancy as I dropped it in a Dropbox. I don't know what fancy dropped in a Dropbox. I don't know. I hope it wasn't the combat traps. Josh says, Jolie, my dog has been caught in the act of burying squirrels in my mother-in-law's yard. Tim Farrell says, Dodgers would be a good name for your cat, John. Tim still lobbying for me to get a cat. Look, I love cats. I do. I really, really do. I guess I could, sometimes people, they say it's easier to like get around the pet deposits requirements in apartments with a cat because cats are easier to hide or whatever, or I don't know. They're not as noticeable than say a dog or whatever, but anyhow, it just requires a $300 deposit, which I really don't feel like putting up. I don't know. Maybe someday I will. Who knows? You keep reminding me though, Tim. Let's see. Jonathan Rose says it would be seen the right way because the camera would flip it. I haven't drinking enough coffee to think this much. That's kind of a mid-thread. Total mid-thread comment because I don't know what we're talking about. Sandy Phil says you need a haircut. I just got a haircut. Why do I need a haircut? What are you, like? Are you my drill sergeant? Marcia says, wondering if anyone will wear an ice costume like some are already doing. Let's see. William's here. I thought I already said hi to William, so hello, William, again. Look at there, Damon Dog. I'm just not getting to it. Damon Dog, $4.99 super chat. Yippee! Thank you so much for that. And Damon Dog says for the yippee you just gave me. Well, I gave you another one. And there's a heart and a thumbs up. Thank you, Damon Dog. I appreciate that. Really helps a lot. Goes a long way helping out the show, keeping us going. And look, as I look down, I do see that we are operating like good Democrats. 45 watching and 50 thumbs up. So we have a surplus of those. So whenever we operate in a surplus, I like to think that we are operating like good Democrats. Luck Dragon says J.D. Vance and his entire team are slowly poisoning Donald Trump with antifreeze. That's funny. The Soulcraft says the Rorschach mask from Watchmen would be amazing. Oh yeah, that would be kind of cool. Sandy Foltz of the $1.49 super sticker. Yippee, Sandy Foltz. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. I really, really do. Thank you so much. Appreciate those. Hey, Twisted Nurse Painting is here. Hey, TNP. Good to see you. Thanks for popping on in as we hang out and just shoot the shit on this Super Saturday. On this super shooting the super shooting the shit Saturday. Why is it hard for me to talk? On this super shooting this shit Saturday. There we go. I worked it out. And I did it. I did it. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, TNP is saying hello to everybody. Hello there, TNP. Good to see you. There's Chris Doug, who was over there watching Johnny Million. I saw you, Chris Doug. Well, that's perfectly fine. As you know, I'm a big Johnny Million fan, and I love Johnny Million. And I had him playing on my TV whilst I was on the air here. So what can I tell you? Oh, Chris Doug says Diane Keaton has passed at age 79. Really? I didn't know that. Rest in peace, Diane Keaton. Now, when you think of Diane Keaton, what movie do you first think of? I'm not going to say which one I thought, because there's a few kind of iconic movies, right? So when Diane Keaton, when you hear the name, what's the first movie you think of? Luck Dragon says John just missed his cue. I guess so. Well, okay. I see Chris Doug says rest in peace, and he wrote Annie Hall. So I'm going to assume for Chris Doug, the first movie he thought of was Annie Hall. And I'll tell you, I think that might have been my second movie that I thought of. Look, Dragon says, I will be in exactly 1 hour to remind you it is 20 past. Yeah, so we got a lot of rest in peace Diane Keatons in there. Here's a link for Twisted Nurse Painting's YouTube channel. You want to check that out. Lots of really interesting videos there. Stephen Sayers is here. Stephen says, sorry about being late, Trucker John. Johnny Million was shedding. I know. And it's perfectly fine. I don't. If there's one place you're going to go, if it's not here, and if it's to Johnny Million, then I completely get it. I completely understand. Doug G. Neon Green. This is not neon green. This is a really bright day glow yellow. This is like a day glow yellow. My daughter always does accuse me of being colorblind, though. DPD 5841 says, "Wait, what? Diane Keaton passed away?" Well, that's what Chris Doug is saying. I'm gonna take him at his word. Marcia Jones with a $9.99 or £9.99 super chat. Thank you, Marcia Jones. Yippee! Going out to Marcia Jones. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you, and there's a thumbs up and a heart for you. I do appreciate it. That helps the show when we are 2/5 of the way on our goal, our daily goal. Thank you, Marcia. Marcia Jones. We got Doug G here in the chat. Jolie says, I love snakes. I used to live with someone that had an 8-foot and a 10-foot Burmese python. The 10-foot one's name was Ozzy. Loved taking him outside. Those kind of snakes, I don't feel too bad about because I don't feel like, I mean, I guess they're the kind that they could wrap around you and suffocate you or whatever, or something like that. I don't know. But I'm not too concerned about them because I don't feel like they're going to strike you and inject deadly poison into you. That's the one I don't like. Like I grew up around rattlesnakes, so there's a lot of rattlesnakes. I don't really like them too well. I've killed a few rattlesnakes. I've had battles. So anything like that that could have poisonous fangs and shit, I don't like. Not that the python, I'm not real crazy about. I see people carrying around. You can go down to the Fremont Street, and there's always 2 or 3 people walking around with big giant Burmese pythons or whatever the fuck they are, and I think they're kind of creepy. I don't really. I still don't like them. William Buckner in the World Series. That is one that comes to mind. I don't think that was I don't think that was a dumb mistake. I think that was an error. It definitely was an error. But it wasn't like he made a bad decision. You know what I mean? So it's different. This one here, the guy made the decision to throw the ball home. And by the time he did that, even if with a good throw, he might not have made it. But it was a force out because the bases were loaded and with 2 outs. So that's why he threw it home, because he knew it was a force play. In other words, all you had to do, the catcher, all he had to do was catch the ball and make sure his foot was on the plate. He didn't have to tag. You don't have to worry about tagging the runner. It's just a force. It's a force play. But even with a good throw, it's still the runner probably would have been out. But it was a really bad decision because it was to go home, because you saw what happened and you saw how anything could go wrong when the runner is that close, coming in that close to break up the play or whatever. And the way they practice it, the conventional wisdom and the way the teams practice that very situation is you just gather up the ball and you fire it to first base. Because like I said, the batter was barely out of the batter's box, and he had plenty of time to throw him out. So that's why I think that play is dumber, if we're going to use, I guess I'm using the term dumber for lack of a better term, than the Buckner play, because that was like a ground ball that he has probably made, that ball 99.9% of the time. Bill Buckner, I think he's a gold. I think he was a Gold Glove, recipient. He played for the Dodgers for many years, so I know Buckner was a good fielder. He was a good hitter, a good player, good all-around player. But he made an error. So it's a little bit different than this guy made an error too. It was an error in judgment. And it was an errant throw. But I think this one the other night by the Philly pitcher. I think that was. But the Buckner thing, it does come to mind when you try to think of really dumb plays or an error that really cost the team, because that cost the Mets that game, right? That wasn't the deciding game, I don't think, though. Anyhow, Josh says, did I skip Marsha? Marsha with a $1.99 super sticker. Thank you, Marsha. Yippee! I'm going to give you a yippee. I don't think I skipped you. I mean, I think I just got you there. So there's Marsha with a $1.99 super sticker. Thank you. I appreciate you so much, Marsha. I always do appreciate that. Thanks a lot for helping us out. Keeping the show going here, supporting the show. Luck Dragon says, in my opinion, I think Bernie Sanders should have got the Nobel Peace Prize. I'm not sure for what. Jonathan Earl, I understood all of that explanation because I'm a man and I like sports. See, here's another one with Bill Buckner. And I just explained why I think it's not. I don't think the Buckner play was as dumb as I didn't even. What's the guy's name? I can't even remember the guy's name. The Philly pitcher that fucked up. The Philly fuck up. I'm calling it. From now on, I'm gonna call that the Philly fuck up. I don't think that was, but that is the one that comes to mind because that was a big play and it cost the Mets that game. But like I said, I don't think that was the deciding game of that series, right? Nug Dragon says, if not Bernie Sanders, then definitely Luigi. No, I'm going to say no. I'll probably say no to both because I like Bernie, and I'm saying no to the other one because I'm not. I don't advocate for murder. Okay, sorry guys, just not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Luck Dragon says playoff baseball is 10 maybe times better than I don't know why you just put an X there, but yeah, it's 10 asterisks better or whatever that than any other sport. The problem is you have to wait 162 stupid games before you get there. So I guess we should just not have a season. And then, gee, if there was only some way that you could get the best teams in the league to be in a playoff system to get to the two champions of each league to be in the World Series. If there was just some way of doing that, I don't know. How could they do it? Oh. What, were they supposed to have like a 10-game season? Child a hug today. Yeah, really. Don't take anything for granted. Make sure you tell your kids you love them. If you can't hug them, you're not in the same vicinity. Make sure you give them a phone call or whatever, and make sure that you let them know that you love them. Don't take anything for granted. Look, Dragon says, I'm halfway through my book right now titled The Audacity of Bernie. Jonathan Earl says, whose ballot obviously, you mean ballot? Obviously for early voting came on, John, laughing out loud. I don't know. It sounds like you're getting a little pissy. You're getting a little pissy there, Jonathan. Maybe did you have your coffee yet, or what's the deal? You sound pissy. Fancy suggests stocking up on big bags of beans and rice, folks. For the big recession we got going here, we might have food shortages. Might not be able to afford food. So yeah, maybe some big bags of beans and rice. We'll be eating that until we get to 2028. Oh, Fancy, I dropped my ballot in the Dropbox. Oh, okay, yeah. So is that what Jonathan was getting pissy about? Jesus Christ. Superstar. Whenever I hear someone say Jesus Christ, like on a live stream or anything, I always say superstar. That's just how I roll, man. Marsha says, cats don't tell the police where your drugs are. Yeah, they're not like those damn dogs. Dogs are narcs, man. Twisted Nurse Painting hasn't had a haircut since 1989. Either you have very, 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 very long hair, or you're bald. You've lost it all. It might be the latter. I suspect. I don't know. Sandy Folk says, just don't tell them you have a kitty. If you get one, just hide it when maintenance man comes. I know. It's like I have to throw the cat in the closet and be like, you, quiet. Don't, quiet. Just stay in the closet. Cats are pretty cool. They probably would go for that. The cat would be like, yeah, I'll chill here in the closet for a little bit. Maybe I'll find some bugs to eat. Jolie says it's been at least 6 or 7 years for me. Oh, I'm mid-thread. Oh, for a haircut. See, that's the thing. I read them and then I forget them. Don O'Leary says the most expensive today at the grocery store was coffee. I've been hearing coffee has been going up. Now I've been buying these little K-cup things, and I didn't notice the price has gone up on the ones that I'm buying. But I've been seeing videos of people posting where from one shopping trip to the next, how it's like going up $4 or $5 a pop. The Soulcraft says Father of the Bride, okay, and DPD 58 for The Godfather. The Godfather was the one up for me, and then Annie Hall was second for me. Marshall Jones, The Godfather, William, Annie Hall. So yeah. Rest in peace, Diane Keaton, and so many other great movies too, besides just those two or three. Great career. Seemed like a really great lady. Josh says maybe we should call the donations super shits. Yeah, maybe. What now? See, it's been so long since I said that. I don't even remember. Was it Super Saturday? I don't even know. I don't even remember what I said now. Welcome to the Saturday Super Chat Saturday. I can't even remember what I said now. Don O'Leary says, my deceased kitty loved Hal Sparks. She would literally jump in and lap when Hal came on. Oh, she wanted to sit down and watch with you. Huh? Oh, that's a sweet memory of your little kitty. Sweet memory there. Susie Jones says, Voight fired a bunch of people from CDC just as South Carolina reported measles outbreak. I'm telling you, man, buckle up. We're in for a bumpy ride. We're in for a bumpy ride. We still got 3 fucking years to go. Over 3 years to go, this motherfucker. All right? How many years do we have? This is still 2025. Yeah, we got 3 years. Just to get to the election. That's not even when they finally get them out in January of the following year. DPD 5844. I refuse to watch Annie Hall because of the child dealer Woody Allen, and I understand that. I haven't watched that movie probably since it came out or thereabouts. But back then, I guess we didn't. At the time, I don't think we knew anything about that. At that time, we just thought Woody Allen was. I mean, I think you either loved him or you hated him, type of thing. I thought he was a really great filmmaker. I thought he was really funny, really hilarious. I remember as maybe a young teenager or early, or like when I was like, I don't know what, 12 or 13. I think Bananas, that movie Bananas. I don't know if it came out or I just saw it. Somehow I saw it, and it was hilarious. And of course, it had lots of good boob scenes. I think there were boob scenes, but I just thought that was the most hilarious movie that I'd ever seen. If you ever saw Bananas. But then again, it's kind of like how we were talking about O.J. Simpson the other day. You know, it really taints, because then these people go on to be really awful people. Woody Allen, I think, seems to be a pretty awful person. If these things are true, I don't know. I don't think he's ever faced any. He's never faced any criminal court or anything like that. So I don't think the things are all alleged. But I don't know. I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty safe assumption that these accusations, most of them are probably true or whatever. But anyhow, since there is some doubt or whatever, it's not quite as bad as OJ. We know OJ was a murderer. We know OJ was awful. And so that taints, because like I said, OJ Simpson was my favorite running back in the day, back in the 70s. He was absolutely my favorite. He was awesome. And I think he was the best running back I've ever seen, even to this day. There's no running back that tops O.J. Simpson. But now, because of what he went on to do many years later, decades later, that whole memory is just tainted. I can't think of, how memories, sometimes you got good memories and you got bad memories or whatever. And this is would have been a good memory. I mean, remembering watching O.J. Simpson run the football like no one's business and like no one ever has since or before. Now that's a tainted memory because you can't separate the OJ that he became decades later and the awful things that he did. Even though those memories predate that. They're decades earlier. It's tainted. Same way with Woody Allen now. There were movies that I liked of his that I thought were really funny and really good, and I really liked his style of humor. But now it's tainted because now I can't think. If I think of any of those other movies, then all I do is think about him, allegedly. I guess we have to say allegedly at this point. I don't know. Basically molesting children or whatever. So it's just it sucks, right? I mean, it sucks. So, moral of the story, folks, is if you don't want the good stuff that you've done be tainted, then don't go on to do horrible things later. There you go. Put that on a coffee mug. Damon Dog says, one of my friends got fired from CDC in Atlanta along with 1,200 other people. She said she'll be carless and homeless in 2 months. She raises 2 daughters on her own. I wish I could help her so bad. See what these motherfuckers are doing? And they don't give a fucking rat's ass. Donald Trump, Elon Musk, anyone in his cabinet, his administration, they don't give a fucking rat's ass. They cut these jobs willy-nilly. There's been thousands and thousands of people now that have lost their jobs just because of Donald Trump. Just saying, we're cutting these jobs. We got to pay for the rich tax cuts somehow. And they don't give a fuck that they are destroying people's lives. Good, honest, hardworking people, lives are going to be destroyed because of this motherfucker, Donald Trump. It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. But hey, we got a Truckerversary. Happy Truckerversary to Susie Jones, member for 5 months. Thank you so much, Susie, for being a member for 5 months at the driver level. And Susie says, love y'all. And we love you too, Susie. Thanks for being here. And we do have a reminder. We have those memberships starting as low as $1.99 a month. If you guys want to become members, and that's a great way of helping support the show also. Liking, subscribing, and sharing. Those are free things, and those are just as important. So make sure you do all that. But again, if you want to be a member, $1.99 a month. And thank you, Susie. Appreciate you. Hey, there's Christina and Sun Ghost Squad. Hello, Christina. Good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. I don't know how many minutes behind I am. Nick Rich is not here. Nick Rich is boycotting the show today. He's my usual time stamper. I imagine I'm at least 20 minutes behind, if not more. So, Christina, you probably popped in about 20 minutes ago. And I'm just now saying hi because I just now got to that. The Soulcraft says, but wasn't it just 1 out or 2? I was thinking he had to throw home. No, it was 2 away. It was 2 outs. I'm pretty sure it was 2 outs. Yeah. No, he could have just gunned it to first base and the inning would have been over. And even a good throw to home plate might have ended it, but that would have been a really close play. So your best play, and this is what they supposedly practice this. They do have practices even at the major league level, and they do take infield, and they practice these situations over and over and over again. So it should have been like second nature to just gun it to first base. But I'm I'm almost 100% sure it was 2 away. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been as dumb. It wouldn't have been as controversial as it was. I don't know. Luck Dragon says, "Open up the government. American citizens are dying." Is that a song? Because it has little musical clef note thingies or whatever you call that. Musical bar thingy. Is that a song? Is that a Tool song? Seems like I don't know. If I was gonna guess, I would go Tool. I don't know. Tears for Fears. I don't know. Donald Leary says, "I totally forgot." We're talking about Diane Keaton, who just passed away. Don says, "I totally forgot she was in Looking for Mr. Goodbar because I said so. Something gotta give." The First Wives Club. Yeah, the First Wives Club. That was a big one. And that movie when she is giving a baby or with Harold Ramis or having a baby with Harold Ramis. But yeah, Looking for Mr. Goodbar. It was a big one. Something's Gotta Give. The First Wives Club. That was a big movie. Pretty big movie there. Christina Sun and Ghost Squad says, "I do love Bernie Sanders. I really wanted him to be president. Our country just wasn't ready for him, though, I guess." I like Bernie, too. I voted for him in the primary in 2016. I have a Bernie Sanders t-shirt somewhere. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe I don't have it anymore, but I used to have one. Luck Dragon says, "I bet Ted Cruz is on a beach somewhere. Tanning. Why don't you get to work? American citizens are fucking dying." Oh, yeah. Yeah, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck, Luck Dragon. These Republicans do not give a rat's ass. And, to their own detriment, because they're going to get their asses handed to them in 2026. I believe. Maybe that's why they don't care, because they already figure they're going to lose. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Soulcraft says, "I'd be okay with a 100-game season." But I don't know. Why do you care how long the season is? I mean, you're still going to live your life. You don't live your life around baseball, do you? I mean, I don't know. I guess I just don't think about those kind of things. I'm just like, it's 162. It's 162. I think it's been 162 my whole life. I know it used to be 155. They expanded to 162. I forget exactly when it was. I think was it in the 50s. But as far as to my earliest remembrances, it's always been 162. It was 155 previous to that. I think the thinking is that it takes that many games, at least to get the cream of the crop into the playoffs. But I suppose you could do that with 100 games. I don't know. Christina Sungo says, laughing out loud, "They can just draw straws to see who's in the playoffs. Why play all those games." because you got to earn it. You got to earn it. It's not just not drawing straws. That would be ridiculous. I know you're tongue in cheek and stuff like that, but the idea is you play this long, grueling season to make sure that the teams that get in there are worthy of getting in there. That's the way I've always looked at it, anyhow. That's the way I've always seen it. And Jolie's got the link to Christina and Son Ghost Squad on YouTube. There's the link right there. Go check out Christina and Son Ghost Squad. Give her go subscribe, right? Right? You're going to subscribe to that and check out the videos. Lots of great videos, lots of great live streaming, and sometimes, well, all the time probably, great guests. Great guests on that show. So yeah, check out Christina and Son Ghost Squad channel on YouTube. Jonathan Earl says that, and autocorrect is having a field day with my ass. It's a relentless nemesis. Yeah, I've felt that about. I feel you. I have at times felt that autocorrect is the bane of my existence. Absolutely. Christina Son Ghost Squad says, I have enough rice to choke a horse. I'm not really a big rice person, but get cases of mac and cheese at Amazon, laughing out loud. Yeah, we might all have to become little preppers. You know? I know that sometimes we make fun of the preppers because they're prepping. They've been prepping for, I don't know, to have either Armageddon come or whatever. I don't know. The big fight with the government or whatever it is. But maybe they were onto something. We might all have to be, somewhat preppers right now. So go stock up on, whatever you can. Something that's non-perishable. And who was it that had the idea in one of my videos? They said that they get the plastic containers that seal up tight, nice and tight, and you can put your food in there, and you can put those right in your cabinets, and that way the bugs don't get in them, and I don't think rodents will get in them. So that's something to think about too. Might want to get some nice containers that seal up nice, and you can put your bags of rice and beans and mac and cheese and all that shit in there, and be stocked up. So we might have to do a little prepping. I take everything bad I ever said about preppers. I'm going to take it back because maybe they were right. We should be prepping. Let's see. Luck Dragon says it's the best sport, but it takes too long to get there. I guess I've never really had a problem with it. Now, like I said the other day, I didn't watch any regular season games at all this year. I just watched almost every day. I watched the highlights, either by MLB that puts it out or by House of Highlights. After every game, they condense the game down to about 20 minutes. And it is every inning, every at bat. So it's not just like someone picking highlights. So I think it does give you a pretty good thing. So it reduces like a almost 3-hour game down to 20 minutes. So granted, I used to watch games, baseball games in the regular season on TV. I used to sit and watch probably, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 games a year. It wasn't like football where I try to watch every week, whatever. But I don't know. It is what it is. If they want to shorten the season, because I guess there's always talks about that. They're not, that's revenue taken away from the teams. For one thing, those are less games for them to sell tickets and to sell food and parking and all that shit, merch. So you might see ticket prices go up. You might see all the shit prices go up if they're going to have a shorter season, because they're going to want to make that money somehow. But I know there has been talk of shortening back down to 155 or 150. That's fine. I think that's probably a long enough season to satisfy what my argument was, that you need to have a long, grueling season to make sure you get the cream of the crop into the postseason, and you don't have people just sneaking in or whatever. It's pretty much, when you've gone through a 162 game schedule, the teams that make it are pretty much all worthy of making it. There really isn't much argument for that, of saying, oh, that team doesn't deserve it or whatever. So Twisted Nurse Pain says, I have very, very, very long hair, like past my waist. Oh, okay, so you're not bald. Okay, all right. Well, I guess it had to be one or the other, right? And I chose the wrong side there. Anna Moore says, stock up on beans, rice, pasta, canned goods, canned milk, or powdered milk Spam. Yeah, we need to get our little prepper pantries stocked up. Soulcraft says, I've been adding can of butter to low main noodles. It works well together. I guess that's cannabis, some sort of cannabis. Getting dark again. I guess we have some clouds rolling over. Looks like it's getting a little dark outside. Getting a little dark out there. Look, Dragon, 3 innings and I'm out. Then you don't like the sport. And that's fine. You don't have to like it. But, that's fine. Fancy says, mine is almost doubled in price. I think we're talking about coffee. I think it was the coffee thing there. Jonathan Earl says it's a little bit of a trip. They have these harnesses that lock bees into little pods, and they line 4 of them up, and a laser beam is passing right in front of them, and you wave your little one. Boy, I'm totally mid-thread. I must be mid-thread. I guess I missed whatever that was about. Search for You, Diane Keaton Died. Yeah, we were mentioning that earlier. That's why we were talking about a bunch of the movies that she was in. I'm going to skip the beat talk from Jonathan Earl because I'm totally mid-thread and I have no idea what that's about. Oh, something about drug sniffing or something, maybe. Oh. Okay. I'm mid-thread on some things, so I'm not going to read them because I don't know. I'm mid-thread and I'm totally lost. I'm totally lost. Christina says, good Lord, I'm hoping he'll be impeached by then. He's not going to be. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Christina. He's not going to be impeached. I mean, okay. We win the House, so we could have the numbers there to introduce articles of impeachment. That could be voted on and passed, I think, with a simple majority. Then it goes to the Senate. And the Senate, I believe has to have a 67 vote threshold. Is that how they say it? It's not a simple majority. I think that would be a super majority. I believe. Now, I could be wrong, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong. So that means, and I've heard people say we have a good shot at winning back the Senate. But I think most people are thinking like, by 1 or 2 votes, by 1 or 2 seats, or that close of a majority. So I guess if we had a 67 seat majority in the Senate, because I don't. We would like to see the Republicans vote for impeachment. I don't think they will, but maybe, who knows? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not thinking about that. Maybe at some point the Republicans will be all on board with getting rid of them. But if they're not, then we're going to have to rely on the Democrats, and I think we would need 67 votes in the Senate. I think. You guys correct me. You guys know more about this than I do, and or are smarter than me. So that's why I say, Christina, don't get your hopes up, because it takes those numbers. Like I said, I think we could do it. We could impeach them, but we can't. I don't know if we can remove them. So we could impeach them. It's the removal part that's the harder part, the trickier part, because we need more votes in the Senate. I think it's more than just a simple majority. Fancy says once they swear in the new congressman, impeachment begins. And so, like I said, we'll have the numbers to impeach in the House. I just don't know if we'll have the numbers to remove in the Senate. So what good is impeachment if you can't remove them? Other than maybe shaming him, maybe? I don't know. But then he just wears it as if he gets impeached and doesn't get removed, then he just wears that as a badge of honor, like, they impeached me for the third time or whatever, Damon Dog has a countdown going on, I guess. 1,196 days, 20 hours, 3 minutes, 5 seconds till noon on January 20th, 2029. But who's counting? Christina Sun Ghost Squad says, I always hated him. I always thought there was something wrong with him, but that was just my opinion. I'm talking about Woody Allen. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Trump, because I was about to say I've always hated Trump too, even back in the 80s, or thought he was, weird and not someone I wanted to, I didn't care about reading about him or whatever in People magazine or shit like that. But Woody Allen, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I didn't think he was. I mean, I thought he was kind of a weird person, but I always thought he was funny, and I did like his movies. But he's tainted all that now, and he's ruined his legacy by being not just a weirdo, but a fucking like predator, an SA'er. And then Fancy, going back to talking about OJ, says he was in all the rental car commercials. Yeah, he did that. Well, I don't know if he's in all of them, but yeah, he did the Hertz cars where he was running through the airport and he was like hurdling the seats in the airport, the waiting areas, and he was known for that. But that was he became known for that. But I mean, it was his Hall of Fame football career that got him those commercials. And then he did movies, and he was in what was it, Naked Gun and shit, and he was funny, and he could be funny, and he did some like action movies, and he could do action movies. He was actually pretty good. Socraft says Gale Sayers. Like I've said, I've just talked about this the other day. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, Gale Sayers was awesome. Don't get me wrong. Gale Sayers was beautiful runner. He could break away and lots of kickoff returns and plus his running, just playing running back. Gale Sayers, definitely one of the best and most exciting runners. Walter Payton, we're going to go with the Bears. I think OJ, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. Your opinion apparently is Gale Sayers. My opinion, at least my favorite running back of that era, mainly the 70s, early and mid 70s especially. I put OJ ahead of Gale Sayers, then Walter Payton was later in the 80s or whatever. But I would put him ahead of Gale Sayers. I would put him ahead of just about anybody. I mean, to me, Jim Brown, who was more in the 60s. But even like Eric Dickerson, who was later, again, he was more of the 80s with the Rams. Great running backs. And running backs have gone on and they've broken his records and all that kind of stuff. But to me, No one was better than OJ at running back. That's my opinion. And like they say, opinions, what they're like. Everyone's got one. Fancy says, yeah, it was an airport laughing out. I remember him running. Yeah, those are the commercials. Yep, hurtling over the seats in the airport. MJ Daniel, we have been rewatching the Pink Panther movies. I haven't seen those in decades and decades and decades, but I remember they were funny. I thought they were pretty funny. Marsha Jones, she was in Baby Boom. Talking about Diane Keaton, the late Diane Keaton, who apparently passed away at 79 years of age. Luck Dragon says 3 more years of the New York Mets not winning a playoff game. Well, hang in there. Hang in there. If you're a Mets fan, just hang in there. Someday they'll make it. They'll make it someday. Someday the Mets will make it into the postseason. And as long as Bill Buckner's not playing first base, they might go all the way. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding, Bill. Bill Buckner, very good ball player. Very good ball player. Damon Dog says, I don't think Nick is boycotting. He had a family thing today. He mentioned it at the house. I was just joking about the boycotting thing. Donald Leary, it's like Kevin Spacey. Right. As far as like tainting your legacy or tainting, like Kevin Spacey, good actor, was in some really good movies. But now you can't help but think of what he was when it came out to for us to know what he really is, the awful monster that he really is. So now, whenever I just finished or not finished, but I just finished I think season 3, or is it 2? Maybe just 2 of House of Cards, and it's a pretty good show, and it's a great performance by Spacey, but still in the back of my mind, I'm still just you're just thinking like, ugh, But I wanted to watch the show because I've never watched the series, so now I'm watching it on Netflix, and so I think it's a really good show, and Spacey was good in it, but because you couldn't keep your fucking dick in your pants when it came to underage dudes, underage boys, you're persona non grata now. Your career is dead, and deservedly so. Deservedly so. Look, Dragon says 15 million people getting kicked off of their health coverage will bring a crowd that is 6 times bigger than any election. Everyone needs to be out there. Whether it's No Kings, whether there's other protests going on, other marches going on, we all need to get out there and let the government know that we're not happy, and that you, leaders of the government, talking to you, Donald Trump, basically, your sycophants and your administration and everyone around you, we are not happy, and we're not gonna stand for it. Search for You says, I can't believe Diane Keaton is gone. Well, yeah, you just never know, do you? when your time comes. Fancy says, I think I'll make a song about Michael McAndrews. Is Michael here? There's Michael. I didn't mean to pass right over you. Hello, Michael McAndrews. Good to see you. Thanks for popping into the old driver's lounge. I do appreciate you being here. Robert Perez from down San Diego way. Hey, Robert. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Robert says, good afternoon to you, Trucker John, and lovely day to all the trucklers in the lounge. Well, thank you, Robert. How is it going with you? Are the grandkids running you ragged today? Hang in there, old man. Hang in there. Jonathan Earl says, I believe if we had ranked choice voting, Bernie would already be president, most likely twice. That may be. You may be right, Jonathan Earl. You may be right. You may be right, but you may be wrong. Isn't there a song like that? You may be right, but you may be wrong. MJ Daniel says the Republican voters should stay home and not vote at all, and shame, and let Democrats fix this shit show again. I think that is what's going to happen, though. Actually, I think a lot of Republicans just aren't going to vote. I do think that because just going by what MTG said something the other day. It might have been in one of our clips. I don't know, but when she said, I think it was in the clip, right? When she said, I think she said something like, I think MAGA is going to just stay out. She was talking about, I think she was talking about the elections coming up. I think she's right. They're just not going to vote. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Just don't vote and we'll win. If they don't vote and we vote, it's important that we vote and we get our numbers, make sure we get big numbers, big turnout. And I think we will. I think it's going to be a combination of the Democrats are going to have a big turnout. We'll probably, maybe the people who are independent and or consider themselves not part of a party, they're going to come. A lot of them are going to come on board and vote for Democrats. All these people losing their jobs and losing their health insurance, they're going to vote. Most of them, but the maggots, they barely vote anyway. I mean, that's why Trump has been winning, because he was able to get a certain sector that probably never, that just sits around and bitches and never votes. He was able to get them to actually vote, and I think I think a lot of them are just not going to vote. That's what I think. They're just going to be like butthurt little maggots, and they're going to stay home, and that's perfectly fine. The more of them that stay home, the better for us. The Soulcraft says wear and tear over pitchers. I'd like to see him go into fall without the injuries. That's a good argument. That is a good argument for shortening the season. I don't know if 100 games, but I kind of like this. I kind of like the idea of shortening the season just because the playoff season has gotten a bit longer. And remember, for a while there, it was like we weren't getting to the World Series until mid-November, and almost the Thanksgiving, and they were doing the World Series. And for most of my life and everyone in most of baseball history, the World Series was being played like in the first week of October usually. And because of the playoffs being expanded and everything, the World Series was getting later and later. Now they've sort of tightened up the postseason schedule. So now I think it's still going to be November. Maybe the World Series will be maybe into November, but it'll be very, very early November. It might be starting an actual end of October. So they've done that because they've sort of addressed that issue to not keep having the postseason be going later and later into the year, which is ridiculous because I don't like to watch baseball that is primarily a spring or summer sport, and then all of a sudden be played in 25-degree or 30-degree weather and have like frost on the fucking field and shit like that. It's just baseball really isn't made to be played in really adverse conditions, not like football or other sports. Baseball really should be played when it's a nice day, nice weather, as much as possible. So I was kind of in favor of them shortening the season down to like 150 games, and then that would give them the time. That would give enough time to start the playoffs early enough so that we could keep the postseason out of November. So it would be always wrapped up by the end of October or something. That's why I was in favor of 150. But other than that, I don't. But as far as like just the basic, like the season's too long, I don't. It's not. I don't really ascribe to that. Other than the fact that I guess it is too long because I don't like the playoffs going into or the World Series going into November. So I think a 150 game schedule would still be long enough, grueling enough to get the cream of the crop, like I said, to get the best teams into the postseason. There should be no question, really. Those are the best teams that made it, and they deserve to be there. They deserve to be in the postseason. We're not going to draw straws, Christina. But so if they were going to shorten it, like I said, 150 games, you start the playoffs a little bit earlier, and you keep the World Series out of November, so it never goes that far. It'll be wrapped up by sometime in October. That's my argument. And we're over 2 hours already. Look at there. Look at there. What have we learned today from today's show? Unfortunately, we learned Diane Keaton died. And we learned that Donald Trump lost another case in court there. He's violated the Posse Comitatus Act and the 10th Amendment and the 14th Amendment and all that stuff. DPD 5844 says, did anyone catch Michael Cohen's show this morning where he was talking about how Comey was acting tough on the outside, but when he goes home to his wife, he's crying and whimpering in the corner? How does Michael Cohen know that? Was Michael Cohen there at the house? Hey, that's what I would have said if I was in the earshot of Michael Cohen. I would have said, how the fuck do you know? Anyhow. Luck Dragon says, all I was saying was last night's playoff game was very cool. 15 innings. I watched every minute of it. Was American baseball at its finest. Okay, that's fine. I don't know if I said anything against that about the 15 inning game, and I don't think I derided you for that, did I? I don't think I did. Nick Rich is here. Speak of the devil. Like number 56, late again, 109 in Vegas. Oh my gosh, I'm like 28 minutes behind. I'm 28 minutes, guys. Just think about that. I'm almost a half hour behind you. Look, Dragon, I'm an A's fan. Are you going to come down to Vegas and watch some games when they open the new stadium? Like I was saying last time, I think they should just play all their games down here next year at the AAA team they have here instead of playing in Sacramento. Now, I did hear that they might come down and play about 30 games, I think they said, or some amount of games down here. They should just play the whole season down here. That's what I think. Okay, guys, I'm almost a half hour behind. So I'm just going to really skip down and do some needle dropping. Like Susie Jones says, mea culpa at Don O'Leary. That's a needle drop, folks. Here's another skip down. Here's a needle drop. Christine and Sun Ghost Squad says, my high cholesterol will be going through the roof with that stuff. Well, I don't eat meat, so I'll have to have beans in the cans and canned vegetables. They do have like canned zucchini, but it's gross. That's a needle drop. But that's in reference to, we were talking about stocking up on food. We might have to become little preppers. So, Mr. Bob Newell here. Shout out to Gil Hodges, the late great Gil Hodges, by the way. I think longtime first baseman for the Brooklyn Dodgers, and I believe he may have played some in L.A. if I'm not mistaken. He may have made the trip over. Okay, I'm skipping down, and we're going to do another needle drop. Luck Dragon says, I don't know what Jesus would do, but I know what he wouldn't. There you go. That's a needle drop. Skipping down, needle drop, needle drop, needle drop. Donald Leary says, my neighbor across the street is getting her house painted. Excellent job from brown people. I don't know what CD. This sucks. What is happening? Something addressed to me. So Christina Sungos says, at Trucker John, I think you skip this part of the chat. I was saying to get yourself a reusable pod for your coffee so that you can get a big bag of coffee and save money that way. That's how I do it. Oh, yeah, I've heard about those where you can reuse the little K-cups, I think. I have heard of that, and I've thought about that. Maybe one day I will. That's a good idea. It's a great way to save money. All right, skipping down and needle dropping. I'm needle dropping. I'm going to go to Christina and Son Go Squad again. Christina says, I found a sweatshirt that I will wear all year round. It has witches on it, and in the cauldron is an orange substance. And on the floor next to the cauldron is a red hat. Like a baseball hat? Like a MAGA hat? All right. And I agree with Fancy that sounds funny. All right, I'm needle dropping. Damon Dog says, and by the way, Damon Dog is coming in at number 2 in the top fans rankings. Damon Dog says, hey, with a wave emoji at P-Dubs and at Human F Being. So thanks for P-Dubs and Human F Being for dropping in. I am skipping down and needle dropping. And I do see P-Dubs. P-Dubs is in there. And I see Human F Being. Hello, Human F Being. Thanks for coming in. P-Dubs, thank you very much for dropping by. P-Dubs says, Fancy, I'm going to discuss the importance of protesting peacefully this afternoon for No Kings Rally. Awesome. That segues in or aligns. So we've been talking a lot about on today's show. Go to the protest and don't take the bait. Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait. We protest peacefully because we're through peace. Peaceful means if we do it peacefully, it's much more impactful, and it doesn't give them the excuse that they're looking for. That they, and the they in this case, of course, is the Trump administration and the agencies that he is using as his own personal little army. ICE. That's being filled. These ICE positions now are being filled with nothing but fucking white nationalists, Jan Sixers, insurrectionists. This is who ICE is now, and they would love nothing more than to have an excuse to get violent and to put enact violence on all of us. So don't take the bait. Protest peacefully. And just show up in big numbers. That's what we need is big numbers. But keep it peaceful. So yeah, that'll be a great show. I guess that's on P-Dub show coming up. We're going to be talking about the No Kings Rally. So that'll be awesome. Okay, I'm skipping down and I'm going to needle drop. The Soulcraft says, Candlestick used to get cold as fuck. Now, for those of you who don't know, Candlestick Park, that's the old baseball stadium that the San Francisco Giants used to play in. And in what's it been, like 10 years now or maybe longer? Because time flies. I think it's been at least 10 years that they moved into the new stadium. That's right there, basically right by the bay, close to that, the Fisherman's Wharf area, right? And the whole Pier 39 or whatever it was. That's right in that area, I believe. And it looks beautiful. It looks like a beautiful stadium. And I think I haven't heard any reports of it as being as bad of weather as they used to get out. Candlestick, which was down south of the city, it was right on the kind of on the bay down there, but it was just cold and windy, and it was awful by all reports. I never went to a game there, but watching football and baseball there, and it always looked miserable. And the new stadium is much better, it seems. All right, so I'm gonna skip down a needle drop here. Mud is here. Mud, hey Mud, good to see you. Thanks for dropping into the driver's lounge. Mud says at Nick Rich. Hi again, Nick. And then there's some type of emojis that I'm not something about I don't know, coffee. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip down a needle drop. Christina and Sun Go Squad says, Trucker John, yes, it's a MAGA hat. You can just tell right next to the cauldron full of orange stuff. I love it. So there you go. That does sound like a cool shirt, cool sweatshirt, and funny. And yeah, I like it. I like it, Christina. And speaking of another Christina, I'll read a couple from this skip down. Christina Weibel, not to be confused with Christina and Sun Go Squad, but Christina Weibel says, I know, right? Damon Dog? Meanwhile, the military won't be paid during the shutdown or shutdown. That's how the regime treats what he calls suckers and losers. But I believe ICE is being paid. He made sure to pay ICE. Out of coffee. But he's like, yeah, it doesn't give a fuck about the military dudes. Michael McAndrews with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Michael McAndrews. Yippee. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you. $10 super chat. There's a thumbs up. There's a heart for you. Michael says, save for the next bunch of frozen dandelions. Yeah, I might stock up on those. That might be what I'm going to be eating. And it looks like I finally got to the last bunch here of chats. Nick Rich says, John could stay on time if he didn't go off on tangents, whatever he's talking about at the moment. Well, I gotta say my own things, Mr. Babdul, who owns the Dodgers? There is a group it's a consortium of sorts. I know Magic Johnson is one of the owners, but he's not. He's just a part of a group that of people. I don't think he's not even like a majority owner, but I do know Magic because Magic Johnson is famous, and I forget the other ones, but I think it's like 4 or 5 or 6 people that form this little corporation and that own it, the Dodgers, I believe. Someone could probably look that up. I don't know. Fancy says, "Yeah, Rich, but that's the best part of the part, though. Yeah, I gotta go off on my tangents." Damon Dog says, "I have a friend that just ordered a frog blow-up suit to wear in Boston next Saturday." That is so funny how that's taken off, right? How that's the frog suits and the dinosaur suits. I think they're hilarious, and they really do help to, I think, visualize. That's why in the beginning of today's intro, I did all, the first 3 clips are of all the frogs and the dinosaurs and the shark suits and everything. And then what am I trying to say? Juxtaposition. Someday I will learn how to talk. But you put that up against. I am so much like Donald Trump. I can barely say acetaminophen. Anyhow, acetaminophen. I have to say it really fast. But as Donald Trump is saying, it says the Portland is in ruins, Portland is in fire, and then you juxtapose. I need to Google that word against the people in the suits, the frog suits and stuff running around. It's hilarious. And it really helps to illustrate what a buffoon and lying idiot that Donald Trump is. Not that we don't already know that Donald Trump is a lying idiot, but it's good to have the visual documentation of it right there. Michael McAndrew says, don't take Astera Papa Nosafi. Nick Rich says, that's true. That's why we're here. Yeah, Kristen, well, ICE isn't the military, right? I know. And that's why, but why are they not being affected by the shutdown? I believe, from what I've heard, the ICE agents are still getting paid. That Trump is making sure that they're getting paid. But I know they're not the military. I know they're a separate entity. But a lot of other government agencies and things aren't getting paid. But ICE, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure ICE is still getting paid. Pretty sure. Fancy says, I love that Gator guy that harasses him. Yeah, he's pretty funny. I subbed to his channel the other day. He's pretty funny. Damon Dog says, I looked at those Amazon. Those suits are like $60, but I've already spent my Amazon allowance this month. Was that on your mask? Human F Being says, I want to dress up as a lawsuit or a I'm just a bill suit. Nick Rich says, costume makers' business should be going crazy before October 18th. Yeah. All right, guys. So, again, thank you guys so much for being here. I do appreciate you, as always. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to the show. We are at over 430 something now, so we're gradually getting there. We'll be at a million. We'll be at a million before you know it. Maybe by the year 3000. I don't know. But talking about different costumes and things. Yeah, what if there was a tough cookie? I didn't see any tough cookie costumes out there. What's going on? Why aren't there any tough cookie costumes? That's what I want to know. Because that would be my favorite. Would be a tough cookie costume. Hell yeah, hell's yeah. So I suggest that one. If you guys are shopping around for costumes, get yourself a tough cookie costume. I'm sure they make them, right? They got to make them. Why wouldn't they make them? I mean, the tough cookie is like right up there as far as icons. I think is right up there with Bugs Bunny and SpongeBob, right? So yeah, don't forget your tough cookie costume. Now that might be that might be bad advice, because once the an ICE agent sees a tough cookie, they know it's on. They know you ain't fucking around, and they might pepper spray you or something. So I said, the tough cookie costume, I advise caution, extreme caution on that, because yeah, tough cookie has a way of getting people a little bit on edge, if you know what I mean. Just a little bit on edge. So yeah, at your own. I just advise caution. That's all I gotta say. But anyhow, if you go out there on the 18th, 1 week from today, by the way, make sure that you don't take the bait. Now, if you're a cockroach in John's apartment, I do suggest you taking the bait. But if you're a protester out there, don't take the bait. All right? Just peacefully march. Hold hands. Sing Kumbaya. All right? That's what I suggest. It's just an idea, though. It's just an idea. I'm an idea guy. That's what I am. I'm an idea guy. What do you think, Paul? Well, I agree wholeheartedly, Tough Cookie. Wholeheartedly. Peaceful protest is the way to go. Keep it peaceful and, just keep it peaceful. And I think another good costume, it would be the purple beard. Go buy a purple beard. Why am I not seeing more people wearing purple beards? Nothing says peaceful like a purple beard. Let me tell you. Just you could do that. I'm just me and Cookie. We're full of ideas today, aren't we? We're the idea guys. So you can wear a purple beard and goodness gracious, that would be sending a message. That'd be sending quite the message. Oh, what was it though? Oh yeah, I heard someone talking about. Was it Texas Paul or somebody? Or no, who was it? Talking about this purple movement. So I don't want to be confused with that because it sounds like a bunch of whack jobs on that one. A bunch of like Joe. I almost said Joe Cinema, which would be that's quite a combo there. But anyhow, I digress as I do occasionally. So yeah, just make sure though, guys, just go out there and protest and peacefully, just march, make some nice signs, and let everyone know, that you're there because we don't want a king. We don't want kings, and we don't want, and even any type of fake democracy. We want the real deal. We want to keep it real up in this bitch, right? We want to keep it real up in this bitch. So, we want free and fair elections that are legitimate, that our votes are counted. One man, one vote. One person, one vote, because it's not just men. And that our votes are counted. That's what we want. None of this, no kings, none of that bullshit. Excuse my French. I do get a little bit, the old purple guy gets a little blue every now and then, if you know what I mean. But anyhow, guys, thanks again. Thanks for being here. You guys are awesome. So let's just do that. I like doing that. That's pretty cool. And we'll see you on the next one. We'll see you on Monday, I believe. Yeah, all right. Thanks, guys. They popped in, and I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, let's peacefully protest. Keep it peaceful. Don't take the bait, and let's show up in big numbers, huge numbers, the likes of which have never been seen before. All right, guys. You know what time it is. It is time to do the words of wisdom, and then we're going to check out. I'll be back again on Monday. At 11 a.m. Pacific time, right after the Hal Sparks Show on Monday. So that's one way of remembering. If you can't remember at 11 a.m. Pacific time, just remember I'll be coming on right after Hal. Okay? And we'll see you then. So have a good rest of your weekend. And whatever you do, make sure you have a good time. Make sure you hug your loved ones. Give them a little extra hug. Tell them you love them. You never know what's going to happen. Let's stick together, and we can get through this together. We got to stick together. All right, guys. So that's it for today. So we've got words of wisdom coming up. Let me go ahead and I think I have to take one of these down. All righty. Okay, so you ready? Got your pen and paper ready? Get your pen, get your paper, write this down. Words of wisdom. All right, guys. So for today's words of wisdom, and it kind of ties in with the no kings thing, right? So just remember, guys.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid, but doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John Livestream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John Livestream. Yeah, the Trucker John Livestream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream, this is where we win, right here on the Trucker John Livestream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food and movies and bugs, shining a light on all the social issues. No shrugs, I've driven through the desert, seen the city so bright. But now I'm living in a different kind of fight. From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. In my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. So you want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love. It's all about the thrills, it's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows, so go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. So damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along.
Show's over. I'm out of here, folks. Bye.